Say it while I'm on screen. Jesus.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sex Positive Me on BFAM 109.6. Today is Monday, March 8th, and today we have an interesting topic. We're going to be chatting about polyamory.
Mhm.
Now, polyamory, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a form of ethical non-monogamy. Last week we covered swinging and talked about that. Polyamory is going to be a little different. It's going to be a little, I'm going to say, more involved, more complicated, definitely deeper
It's
than
very
swinging.
intricate, like a gorgeous spider web. It goes in several different directions depending on how it's created.
I love the combinations.
Yes.
There's a lot to it, but it definitely can get both romantically, emotionally, and legally complicated.
All of the above complicated. But if you have any questions during the broadcast, please put them in the chat room and we'll try to answer them. And stay tuned as we'll be asking questions about. Sorry.
Well, we're trying something new,
Try
and we're going to do this every time. We have a toy box, and we have gathered items from the toy box.
Our toy chest box.
Toy chest.
Yes, we'll eventually put a picture of our toy chest. And yes, it is a chest that we saw over at Home Goods that we just had to get it.
Well, we're going to start off with giving a little word from the Florida Center for Hormones and Wellness, because they've been providing, hormone therapy for both men and women in the last almost 2 years now. Coming up this summer, we've been undergoing the treatments. And I received something called a pulse wave treatment and a pea shot, or I always say this right, Priapus.
Yeah.
Papaya shot?
It looks like a papaya, but it's Priapus.
It's definitely not a papaya.
Yes.
And what did you get?
I got the O-Shot and the Viviv treatment. And the Viviv treatment, it's kind of like electropads that try to tighten your vulva area. So yeah, it got really tight there in a couple months there. I thought I almost like jackhammer off your penis.
Well, we both got hormone therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and we get pellets every few months put in. And I know every time in the beginning when you first got them, I woke up with you on top of me. That was really interesting. But we documented the whole process. There's more videos coming out, but check it out on YouTube. And also check out hormonesandwellness.com if you live in the Central Florida area. They're definitely worth it. So we'll be back in just a moment. We're going to be talking about polyamory on Sex Positive Me on BFAM 109.6. You're dangerous with that thing. Yes, I found it. No, you took it from me, and now I gave it back. That's a poking stick.
It is to point things out,
It usually ends up in my armpit.
This time it ends up down by your knee.
Ah.
Yes. Did you bring a phone? Okay.
I have phone, just in case I have special messages.
Yeah. No.
But I got toys, I got condoms, I got
books, I got lube.
I got Wally.
Why does Moose Food have to be around my condoms? No. We don't. No. And we're back.
So today we're going to be talking about polyamory, normally referred to as poly. You may have seen that if you've gone on dating profiles. To be very clear, I want to start off, because I know poly people are listening. Polyamory is not polygamy.
No.
It is not HBO's Big Love. And even the ones that got it slightly more right, which would be Showtime did a show called Polyamory, Married and Dating.
Okay, slightly.
That's not it.
We're saying like 25% right out of the whole entire polyamory dating thing, because
that's true.
It was really, really pretty people
all the time,
and it was more of a swinging situation, too much of a controlling situation. Let's go down the errors of their way. So it's only 25% correct.
So I will say that I don't know any movies that got it right. So let's go ahead and go with our own decision. I like how you put it. Polyamory is hearts, not parts, meaning that it is more of an emotional, um, longer term commitment than swinging is basically a weekend activity. I like how you put it last week, weekend warrior.
It's a weekend warrior stuff. You just go hang out. It's like meeting up with your friends for, drinks and dinner, but instead of drinks and dinner, or it can include it, you have sex. Instead of going to the movies or bowling, you're having sex.
While polyamory is more multiple boyfriends, girlfriends, and there may
Partners.
there may or may not be marriage involved. Yes, multiple partners.
Yes.
But the biggest word that I come up with that describes poly as opposed to swinging is the word commitment.
Yes.
Polyamory has a commitment factor while swing does not. And it doesn't mean you can't cross the streams, as you love to put it.
Oh,
I know plenty of poly people that are open for one night stands.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossing the streams, even with the BDSM and power exchange community within all of these. So it is trying to understand the level of commitment in a polyamory relationship. I can never be poly. I cannot commit. Please. The biggest long joke between my friends and John was, "Are you sure she wants to be with you? Because she has commitment phobia."
No. Quote, at our wedding,
Oh God.
your best friend said, "Blink twice if she's holding you hostage." No, you are not a poly person. But then again, let's be honest. Your daughter was almost 10 years old before you introduced her to me, and I'm the first guy you said,
and the only guy
that you actually brought home to meet her, and I became daddy.
Yeah.
So you don't commit her easily.
No, I don't commit. No, I don't have commitment. No.
Yes, commitment phobia.
Yes, I still
is on that, which is funny because you've ended up marrying a guy who is more towards that poly side of it,
right?
And can hold poly. I will admit right now, I haven't held a successful poly relationship, but I'm definitely more to that side of making friends, loving the cuddle, loving the interest, the support, the whole thing that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe we should start a little bit more basic here, because if there's poly, which is just basically relationships between multiple people,
mm-hmm.
and meaning there might be, let's see, 3 people in a V.
Yeah.
That's one where one person is the center, and then there's 2 people who are not dating each other.
Right. There could be the triad where they're all kind of involved with each other one way or another. It doesn't have to be sexual. It could be emotional or mental.
True.
Yes, that is still a triad. Then there's
quads.
Solely. Oh, you went to the quads.
I went to a quad. Quad is obviously 4 people, and again, any gender. There's no restrictions on that. They can be all men. They can be all women. They can be any mix of thereof.
Right, but we also forgot to mention for triads, there's also triple. That's a very upcoming word there to say 3 in a relationship. Triple, because I know it was on HGTV. A triple was looking for a house together, so that so they were making it look polyamory in a good light. Then we have solo polyamory. So they lives alone, lives their own life, but is committed to various different people, either emotionally or mentally or spiritually, whichever it is, but does not have like the, I'm helping raise the kids kind of commitment too.
Well, it may. And I guess one of the things that comes up, we know many poly families. We know many poly success stories, as well as obviously poly failures. Correct. And the truth is, one thing I will say is every time a poly fails, for the people who are in the vanilla side of it, and again, I don't say vanilla with any judgment, it's just meaning those who are monogamous and not into kink. But anytime a poly or relationship like that fails, their first assumption is it's because it's poly. And it's like, no.
It's a non-traditional relationship. See, it's like you have to be committed to one person only, and it has to be of the opposite sex. No. It could be however you want to design your relationship. And I think that's what people sometimes often forget. You can design your own relationship however you want.
Well, I just wanted to point out that part that for the world, when a relationship goes wrong and it's poly, that's the first thing they blame. And it could be one person's an alcoholic, one person got a job in another. So there should be all these different reasons. but that's, the first thing they go to. And it's usually not the right reason.
No, it's not. And it's just people just always are looking for a scapegoat, period.
Yeah, the simple answer.
Yes, it's the simple answer. Who can we blame why this failed? Instead of like, we didn't communicate enough. We didn't set boundaries. We did not establish our rules. Let's go down the list of the things that even in a monogamous, cisgender, heterosexual relationship needs to have. I mean, now I'm just going kind of therapist style on that.
I know
part.
you are.
But it is. I don't like we're going to just blame it on this, that it failed, instead of like, did you work on your communication? Did you ask that, how does this make you feel? Because this made me feel this way. Again, reiterating that your feelings, owning your own feelings, and not just blaming somebody else.
Well, yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
It's true, because it's like they automatically will start saying, hey, it's like, you should have known my feelings. Well, did you communicate your feelings? Well, no, no one's a psychic. Okay. Even the
Finish
psychic
that sentence.
Yeah.
You were going to say they should know.
They should know. It's
And
like,
that is something that is always true. Always false.
I was going to say.
Well, it's always false.
See,
The idea that you should know something, I know in our relationship, if I don't tell you, I don't expect anyone to know how I'm feeling.
No.
Probably because I keep my feelings in sometimes.
You do. Sometimes you're more emotionally constipated than I choose. I'm like, excuse me. We have nicknamed our bathroom the mistress when he's having digestive issues. So yeah, it's like, you're going to visit the mistress.
I caught COVID and it hit me in the stomach. So I spent a lot of term out there, and hence came a lot of time.
A lot of time.
And it's now the mistress. So we'll get you two to sit down and talk it out.
How many flushes does it take?
Well, for the first segment, again, we're just kind of talking about the definition of polyamory. And the thing is, a lot of people ask, why would you do that? And it's really funny because the answer is so simple. And for years, it's always been, you've heard the phrase probably, it takes a village to raise a child. We weren't meant to do things alone. We weren't. We were in tribes or villages or whatever you want to call it. And even I grew up in an Italian family in New York. Even in the 80s, the family was close. I mean, it was every Sunday was at grandma's with this giant pot of red sauce with like 2 inches of grease on top that probably killed everyone's heart. But the families were much closer. And we've lost that. I think polyamory in a way has kind of come out of that we lost it, that now we live in apartments or homes and we're separated from families. And a lot of us have gone and found our, what we'll call the chosen families, the people that we choose to involve in our life because we may not live in the same city.
Right. Especially like a lot of us that travel, everywhere. We're road warriors, for work or business, whatever the reason is that we're always on the go, that we establish relationships in the various cities that we're always constantly visiting, because we know someone who had 13 metamors, 13 partners, but they were dispersed in various different cities, and not all of them were all sexual either. So it was just having that loved one in that city to fill that gap while they were traveling. So, but it was very wonderful to see them when they did their presentation. All 13 we're like, whoa, you're all here from all over the country. So it's a support group. It's a supportive family, your chosen family.
Oh, I think polyamory is, or at least the rise in, because I've seen a rise in polyamory in the past 20 years.
Or it's just been more noticeable.
Maybe.
Actually. Yeah.
And it may be, but it's come out of two things. One, we need the connection. Even more with technology, we are more and more driven alone. And for the last year, we're not getting out of our houses, and we're looking to connect with another human being. So I think that's one part of it. I think the other part of it is to start that self-care, that caring about yourself, and realizing that one person, as I call the Disney lie, may not satisfy every one of your needs. You may find, like you are absolutely perfect for me, and you might satisfy 98, 95, 98% of
90,
my needs.
90.
90, you're the one lowering it.
Yeah, because I outsource a lot of stuff.
But there are activities I like to do that you don't.
Correct. And that's outsourcing.
And same thing. I will say one of the reasons I will say Angelique is a wonderful wife is she has never made me watch a rom-com. Now, I never actually made her watch a Star Wars movie, but there was The Child, and now you're addicted.
That's the Mandalorian.
Which is Star Wars.
But I already came into the relationship acknowledging what Star Wars was. I knew what Star Wars is because I worked at Disney for 25 years. So I know that. So it wasn't like I was completely clueless either.
I never said you were clueless.
Oh, the way you're making it sound like.
But no. I was just saying, we watch things together, and there's the things that you like and the things that I like, and there's things that I do that, like you say, you outsource. I get to go ahead and go do on my own, and there's things that you like to do that I don't, and otherwise we're very well suited for each other. But the point where we were going was to find someone who meets you 100% on every level.
Does not exist.
Is, I'm going to say, nearly impossible.
Yeah, fine.
That Disney lie that you will meet.
Don't blame
fairy tales. That's a lie. It's a Disney lie, because they're the ones who put in that there's, for every prince there's a princess, and when they meet, everything will be perfect and there will be no problems. And if you look at the divorce rate, that is definitely not true.
Look at Shrek.
Shrek?
Yes.
We jumped from Disney to DreamWorks.
That's still fairy tales.
It's still fairy tales.
Still fairy tales, told you.
So what happened in Shrek?
She found the prince, but she found, what do you call it, an ogre, and that's what made her. So, but we'll talk about that later. We'll be back. We'll be talking about more polyamory here on Sex Positive Me on BFAM 109.6.
You want to do Kink Crate?
Well, we already set up Kink Crate. So yeah,
well, that's the ticker.
That's the ticker. Okay. That's the ticker. Mind me to figure out if that is the updated talking points.
Well, until she sends it, I don't have it.
Does private chat have different? Okay, we're back. This segment is sponsored by Kink Crate. Kink Crate is a BDSM kink discreetly delivered to your doorstep monthly. I love the boxes because it's like we know the size of it and it's plain, but it includes bondage or medical play, rope, impact, or puppy play, which was, I thought, your favorite.
I did like the puppy play. It led to me buying 2 more puppy masks and other paraphernalia.
Yes, he's still looking for the little puppy mitts, so we're working on that. But it is definitely LGBT inclusive with couple options for all genders, mix and match, either male, female, male, male, female, female. And there's also options for single ladies. And I think this year they're rolling out male single boxes. So it's just going to be fantastic. So look them up at kinkcrate.com.
Isn't that nice? They deliver to your door and you don't even have to leave the house. That is like the perfect COVID kinky gift. The gift that keeps on kinky giving.
Well, see, my favorite part of the whole box every month is the candy, because it's all different candies because it goes based on the box things.
But it's only enough to sample it. It's not like it's under those 1 pound Hershey bars. Because, when they end up in the house, I eat them in 3 days. I have no self-control once it enters the front door.
You have no self-control with any kind of bake items. And plus, you're an emotional eater. Do you know how challenging that is? So
we're talking back about polyamory. One of the topics I know I wanted to bring up is we mentioned that there's blurred lines, that we call ourselves relationship anarchist because we float between polyamory, swinging, open marriage, as well as other BDSM power exchange type stuff. So we're kind of in between.
We kind of check off all the boxes, but a little sample of everything. So that's why we prefer relationship anarchists. So that way we cover the spectrum. What's all going on.
But one of the interesting things that sometimes will get confused is a swinger who's friends with benefits and a poly partner. Mm-hmm. Now, they can, on the surface, definitely can get confused, because if you think about it, someone you hang out with on the weekends, someone you trust, someone you would call when you're in trouble, that could be a poly partner. It could also be a friends with benefits. I guess the difference, and again, I'm going to go with this word, is the emotional investment and the commitment.
It's more the commitment. It can be emotional, but it could be mental, could be spiritual. I mean, there's a lot of levels of commitment to a person that you may have. I mean, even how committed are you to your best friend? And you're not having any emotional or sexual connections with them, but
And
you're
that's
committed.
and that's why there's confusion.
Yeah.
That sometimes a swinger friends with benefits and a poly kind of looks the same. Um, let's see. There was a couple of terms I love to talk about. I know we mentioned like what triad and what was the other one?
Tropal?
Tropal.
Yeah.
I just look at that word and I can never pronounce it. But the word polycule, it basically is any group in a poly relationship. And it's funny because we have people that like have a ever expanding polycule with levels depending on how close they are.
Okay, so if you ever seen that meme with the guy who looks like a conspiracy theorist and has all these different like angles and red ribbon and things going around, I'm gonna post the photo later in our group so you could see what we're talking about. That's how a polycule can become complex like that.
It can, because think about it. If we go into vanilla terms and you have a relationship with someone, gender doesn't matter, and it gets serious, you may start, having Christmas dinners together. There may be vacations together. There will be planning of, big purchases, maybe.
Yes,
Something
houses.
like
Yes.
cars, houses, maybe planning of children. Now, put that on the poly terms. So you may have 3 people buying a house together, or 4 people or more, whatever that polycule is. There's also the children aspect.
Mhm.
We know multiple people who have raised their children in a poly environment. And
Mhm.
that definitely,
It gets kind of confusing in that aspect because then you're like, okay, what's going on? What do we need to do? Um, where do we go? Do we have the right paperwork?
the legal
The
aspect.
legal aspects. And that's something that people don't understand when it comes to polyamory because it doesn't matter what law in the United States, you need to prove your relationship to somebody in order to pick up a child from school, visit a loved one in the hospital. So say that, we'll use John as the example. He's in the hospital, but his, girlfriend wants to come and visit, but she can't because she's not family. Unless I have legal documents that yes, she has every right to make any decisions or come and visit, add her to the list. So it's things that people sometimes don't comprehend. I'm not saying they don't understand, it's just comprehend in
They'll think
regards
about.
to think about because they just think, oh, it's like dating and a relationship. But even so, most hospitals won't let you
Well,
have your dating partner come in
okay.
or like pick up the child from school unless you've given them permission.
Most laws and
Mhm.
rules, we'll stick with laws for the moment,
Mhm.
are based on a pair. Again, heterosexual or homosexual, they are based on pairs of people getting together.
Mhm.
It's Massachusetts now is actually the first, because in the last year they passed a law where they recognized a triad,
Mhm.
each having all the same legal benefits. And I'm not sure the details of that. I need to look that one up. But it's sort of a step now in, we'll say, poly forward, because right now what you need to do is, let's just say I have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and I have you, my wife.
Mhm.
I need to give that person power of attorney. And there are lawyers out there that will do it these
Mhm.
days. But it's that extra step you need to take, that isn't just inherently given to you as given to you because
We're legally married.
legally married.
Yeah.
That gives us again certain powers. So yeah, being poly it can be just as serious as any other, I hate the word real, but we'll say traditional
Traditional.
relationship.
Yeah, that's more because it's like all these relationships we're talking are non-traditional because I know there has been a change lately of people not feeling comfortable being called alternative relationships, but more of non-traditional relationships. So that's where we're going in regards to how, the discussions and educating the folks in regards to your options.
Well, there's definitely a lot of options out there, and there's one more definition I want to bring up. Actually, there's going to be a few. Just so you know, we are going to be having a little questionnaire trivia coming up soon, in which we'll be giving away a prize. But right now, I want to talk about the term metamor, because unless you know it, it's not something you're going to figure out. It's not like when someone says, polycule, you can figure out, okay, it's poly partners. A metamor are partners, the partner of your partner. So example being, I have a girlfriend, I have a wife, my girlfriend and wife are not involved with each other. Those two would be metamors. They are, it really does help if they get along. That definitely makes, things go better and well, but
especially scheduling wise.
Oh yeah. It helps when everyone's on the same page. I always hated being in the middle with divorced parents, just trying to schedule dinner. And I get the feeling it's going to be close to that. Well, they don't want Italian for this. We're going to go out and we're going to get Mexican. No, I don't want Mexican. Okay. And it all goes through this one person. It's just pulling their hair out.
Now I'm thinking Taco Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. And
it's
Monday. It's Monday. That's right. Well, usually when you say that, it's Tuesday.
I know, but you started.
But at least something like that, Taco Tuesday, if you're for us, we put on the calendar so we know, because one of us will forget. Now imagine the issues where you have 4 people involved. And again, is it more issues? Is it more complicated? Yes. Is it satisfying for some people? Absolutely. I know polycules of 3 and 4 people that have been together years, over 10 years, some over 15, have raised children and have done it successfully. And I will say the children are the most
well-behaved,
well-adjusted, well-rounded. And I love the way it was put to me by one of the children. I said, is it confusing? I was, again, just learning about it, so I asked vanilla questions. I said, I know you get the question, is it confusing having 2 dads? And the answer was, it was fantastic. And here's the reason why. One was very sports, athletic.
He was a jock of the high school.
Yeah. While the other one was very techy. Yes, these two are in a polycule together. And it was great because he's like, no, it's fantastic, because if I have issues about sports, about dating, the pretty girl, whatever, I'm not going to the nerd. That's that daddy. This daddy knows all about that. However, when I need computer help, when I want to know stuff like that, when I'm working on, math stuff, I have this whole other person to go to.
And the best part is they were never felt alone, because there was always someone at all their events, either all 3 of them or 1 of them or 2, whatever the combination was. There was always a parent at every event, because as parents, we know it's very challenging to fix on the calendar in regards to, like, am I going to their choir event, their sporting event, their speaking event, whatever it is. They always had representation of a parent at every event, which many parents, we know, we try, but we don't succeed because of work obligations, yada, yada.
Well, it's hard to have a full-time job and a career and raise a child.
Right.
In today's world. It just is. But, I saw a great meme, and it had a picture of a we'll say, fairly famous quad that lives together. And all it said was one house, and had a picture of the house, which was a nice house. But then below there, it said 4 incomes, our life rocks. Which I'm like, true,
because you don't have the kids to invest.
Well, no, even there were kids involved. But the point is, it was 4 incomes supporting that. I mean, if I was paying 1/4 of my mortgage, I'd be happy as hell.
True.
And you're also getting, but it's not just the financial, you're also, like you said, getting that other support for picking up the kids, for maybe doing taxes.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, there's a whole group of people with different skills, pooling them together, which again goes back to, that's how a village worked.
Right. It's almost like a corporation to a certain extent, if you think about it, depending on everyone's skill level.
True, but I wouldn't put it on Indeed. That's not the place to find new partners. Although that would be funny. Looking for a software engineer for a poly relationship.
Is that what they do on a hashtag open or that dating app? Okay, we're looking specifically for a software engineer to join our triad or polycule. That's a great way to start dating. I'm just curious. Please let us know if that's how you choose your dating partners, specifically based on talents and qualifications. Well, it's already hard dating
It
in
is.
general. And it doesn't matter if you're monogamous or in non-traditional relationships. It's still very challenging. I mean, how many people actually ask us? It's like, well, can you set us up with somebody? No, we don't, because we don't even know the right formula or chemistry here.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not that, hey, no, I know a single person, you know a single person, let's get them together, which, believe it or not, in a way, that's how we met.
That's exactly how we met, but it never worked out in their choice. It just, oops, I finally showed up. So
it worked out.
Right.
But again, which if we're starting with vanilla relationships, and it's hard to find someone you're a match to. We hear all the woes on all the dating sites. Now, if you think about you're going swinging as a couple, now you're trying to find someone, even though it's short term, but if you're going in as a couple, you're trying to match someone up. But that may be just for the night or the weekend. Now, imagine as a couple looking for bringing in another person or another couple for more long-term commitments. And as you know, there's a big difference for any of us who have ever had roommates, especially like college roommates where you just get someone. There's a big difference between being friends with someone, liking someone, and living with someone. So
I don't know. That's so challenging. It's like, you had worse nightmarish roommates than I did. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you had the college program over at Disney, and you went to the international wing where everyone, as you put it, it was a constant party.
It was a constant party, but 1994 was completely different than now. So that's why it was fun.
No, I went to a little school, which was little back then, called University of Central Florida, where, oh my, I remember my freshman roommate was a triathlon runner, and I was a geek, and I wanted to stay up night and sleep in. And the next thing I know, I turned around and my fridge was filled with protein drinks, and I didn't even know what the hell these things were. And he'd be getting up at 6 or 5 in the morning before class to go running and doing his stuff, and I'm like, just coming home.
Did not work out very well there.
But we mentioned that there was a lot of movies out there that talked about poly that didn't work out. I just got reminded by a note here. There was one that we do absolutely love, which is based on a true story, which shows poly in a positive light.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know about Wonder Woman, you probably know about it. It's Professor Marston and the Wonder Women, which is a 2017 movie. The creator of Wonder Woman was poly between, he had a wife and he had eventually he had a girlfriend that they brought in, and he died in the 50s of cancer. So this takes back starting with him being in World War I. So it's, again, going back a bit. But I know he died, I forget, it was the late 40s, early 50s. He died of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife and girlfriend remained together until they died. I think it was in the 90s.
I think so. I don't know. We don't know the statistics, but I think also to a certain degree they broke up for a while after he passed away.
I think they had little transition period dealing with it, but then came back together.
They came back together because it was like the kids, because he actually had a child with each of them. So they were half brothers or half sisters. I can't remember the children's dynamics, but that's what they had. But,
that was a really, really good story.
So when we come back, we'll talk some more, but we'll be talking about polyamory here on Sex Positive Me at BFAM 109.6.
Now we do the one condoms? Let's do back and forth. And we're back, and this segment is being brought to us by One Condoms, the next generation of condoms. Now, here's the thing. The topic of condoms is difficult. Not many
Yes.
people like using or wearing a condom. We
Mm-mm.
know it's one of those, how would I put it? It's a requirement.
It is, especially if you want to be safe with sex. And it's like nowadays, there's so many new STIs, STDs popping up. You never know what to expect.
But the reason why most people hate condoms is because they're probably wearing the wrong size. Because condoms come in two sizes, regular and magnum extra large. And that's like going shopping for pants and saying there's a size 28 and a size 42, which one you want. I'd probably never wear pants again. But if you go to myonecondoms.com, you can actually measure yourself. They do give you a downloadable, printable ruler for that. And they have 60 different sizes available. They call it their fun kit. So go check out One Condoms and rethink condoms. So now we're going to see how many people are listening because we're going to give away. I want to go ahead and do a giveaway.
From our little toy chest here. I posted a photo on our Instagram. I forgot to post it in the Facebook group. Sorry.
We have lube here from Uber Lube, which we love. We have condoms from One Condoms. We have stickers in here from us, as well as Kink Crate, a couple of lubes from Swiss Navy, and a beach ball from fairvilla.com.
Where we teach a lot of our classes there with them. So the question is going to be very interesting. So if you have to pay attention. So NRE stands for new relationship energy. So that's like the new butterflies in your stomach feeling. It's like, wow, you get so obsessed that you're only focusing on this new relationship and you forgot others. But what does ORE stand for?
First person to type it in the chat room will be the winner of this. What does ORE stand for? So, NRE is definitely a powerful thing, though. I know we've all felt it.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely occasionally caused some issues.
It does if people doesn't acknowledge it. I think that's the biggest thing because it's like there's been times that we tell people it's like, hey, you got like something going on. What's happening? And they're just like, la la la, no, and they're just still obsessing. And I mean, to a certain extent, it could turn in kind of a stalkerish kind of deal. It all depends on how bad the NRE is because it's such an adrenaline high that you're just like, oh, I like talking to them. Oh, I can't wait to their next text message or their next video message or, whatever it is that you're just like, oh, I can't wait. And it's like some people might like, isn't that a little bit too much? I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, when it starts interfering with your job. I'd say that's the point where it's too much.
With your life altogether. Yes. So it could be your job, could be your personal relationship, it could be your family relationship.
But it's like a drug.
It is a drug. It is a very high intensity drug that we enjoy very much. But like everything, you have to do everything in moderation and in balance. And
that is true.
Yeah,
we do sometimes go overboard. Those are just the creatures we are.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to go ahead and post the answer. Or should we leave it open for a bit?
We'll leave it open.
Tell you what, we'll leave that open and see if anyone's, because we have some people looking up.
21 minutes on the show, so yeah, let's leave it open there.
We'll leave that open, and we're going to go ahead and continue to talk about polyamory, because it's funny because in the last 15 years of being exposed to people in polyamorous relationships, it's actually gotten me to rethink a lot of relationships. And in the sense that even vanilla relationships, I no longer see it as that forever.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I would like it to be forever, but the truth is people change. I'm not the same person I was 20 years ago. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. And in 10 years, I may not be the same person, and people do drift apart.
Right. And it's like, any like last couple of years, even 5 years, 3, 5 years, we've changed because the world has changed. Everything's changed. But, we learn new things, we experience new things because that's how we evolved, is based on our life experiences. I mean, we're technically seeing that with our little demon child who's like, you know, went on her own. So we're empty nesters and she's learning like everything that we were preaching to her is coming to fruition. So it's like, oh, I guess, yeah, because we at least have 20 years of experience beforehand. And if she doesn't want to listen, well, that's her fault. So that same goes with any kind of relationship. You go with
Oh,
people who have experienced it and, ask how it was, good, bad, or ugly.
well, and going back to that point where when a relationship does fail and people do get divorced, they see it as a failure. And I'm seeing more and more. I saw this news. No, I think it was a documentary, and they were talking about thinking of it in a very different way. That they had some very happy years together. Now, obviously, this was an amicable breakup where they did drift apart, and
But lessons were learned. And that's how some people are starting to look at it, that it was a learning lesson. It wasn't anything bad.
well, I guess the value of a relationship with anyone is not the duration it lasts, but the quality of those time you have together. And it's a very different way of looking at it, that you may only have 10 years with someone. And if those are amazingly happy 10 years, that's a bonus. That's a success,
Mhm.
as opposed to being with someone for 40 years and being miserable. Which one's worth more? Would you rather take the 10 years of bliss or the 40 years of sorrow?
Okay, well, the 40 years of sorrow is also a codependency, and they don't know anybody else, and they can't see their lives with anybody else either, because that hence is my parents. I'm vouching for that. They're going to be like 40, they have 45 years, 46 years of marriage, and they're miserable, but they're also miserable when they're not together. So that is one codependent, messed up relationship altogether.
Yeah, but your father keeps trying to bring in another woman, and your mom wants nothing to do with it.
Oh, he
Your
just,
mom doesn't
yeah.
realize he's serious.
Yeah. No, she does. She just like keeps praying on the Bible. So that's, I mean, come on. She prays over our liberator, and I'm like, it's our sex couch. You're praying on our sex couch? So again, but we also want to mention there's several resources out there. There's like books like by Tristan Taormino called Opening Up that gives you a guideline. There's also Dr. Liz Powell who just building open relationship on your hands-on guide to swinging polyamory and beyond. And she's very well knowledged and resourceful, and she's a therapist. So awesome resources with her stuff.
I
there.
liked her opening up book. It
Yeah.
definitely put a lot of points. And if you're thinking about exploring polyamory, even before finding someone or looking for someone, read a book, because there's a lot of things in there that sound fantastic, and it's like any other thing. It has its ups and downs. It's something you need to be prepared for, and we would prefer that you are prepared to minimize any problems that go through. But another thing that comes up is, let's assume you read the book, you're starting to go out. Finding poly partners is, well, eHarmony is not catering to our group.
I don't know. They could be changing because they're not showing the old man anymore with the take the quiz.
Oh, that's true. No, they have changed eHarmony, that
Yeah,
now they will do same-sex couples.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, because it was very Christian once upon a time there, but they've changed. But I mean, there's other places. I mean, there are a couple dating sites. I know Open Hashtag. It's still a new site, a new dating app because it's not nationwide. I know in certain pockets it's very popular.
Yep.
It's like any kind of dating app what they're trying to open up, but there's like Meetup and FetLife.
Meetup's been an interesting one, because again, we're in Florida. I have found Meetup poly groups in Orlando, in Tampa. There's a few in Miami. I actually found one in Lakeland, which is sort of that in between two big cities. So there are poly groups out there, and it's nice because Meetup groups, I find, are a non-pressure scenario.
Well, it's also educational because a lot of people would like, you might first be apprehensive when they start the interrogation, as you may feel it, because they will
The
ask,
interrogation.
because they'll ask you all these questions. Why you want to be poly? What is it that you're missing? What do you think this is going to fulfill? I mean, they give you all these questions. It's not that they're being territorial. They just want to make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. It is not to deter you, but to really make you think and hold your hand, because we've been to several poly meetups and um, conversations, and we're like, yeah, no, we're trying to make sure to help you avoid as many pitfalls as possible, because they're going to happen no matter what.
Yep.
Because you get head over heels and you're like, oh, this is right, and then some of your old kind of like relationships come back, and it's like, well, no, maybe I need to be monogamous and I need to do this, and no.
Well, I will say one thing. That's definitely not a problem with me. Once I found the non-monogamous lifestyle, and I always say I don't I educate, I don't recruit, but I could never go back to being monogamous. It's just it's sort of finding the right fit for you.
It is. It's like, and maybe for some people it may not been, monogamy, but maybe monogamy with power exchange or BDSM. So there is that possibility there, that you're in love with this one person and just want to be with this person, but you want to explore and do other things. So it's it's kind of finding that right pizza combination. Pepperoni, cheese, mushrooms.
Well, it's the balance of
onions.
life.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at your dating history, assuming you didn't get married right out of high school, you're probably going to see different people you've dated. And you may see ones that were more aggressive. Maybe you had partners that were more aggressive, partners that were more laid back and submissive, maybe partners that were a little bit more intellectual, ones that were more relaxed, while others were a little bit more tempered and we'll say action prone.
Mm-hmm.
So you may have dated all these different people and seen all these different qualities, and they might be completely different. If you look at my partners over my lifetime, each partner has been very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the thing is, you may get to a point where you like having those parts from the different people, but at the same time. So again, it's more fulfilling different needs, which actually brings us back to a point: identifying your needs.
Yeah.
Knowing yourself is extremely important. Going into this, going into poly thinking it's for more sex
is
totally the wrong thing.
It's not. Oh, no. Because you might find a person who's asexual and you find them interesting, dynamic, but no interest in sex whatsoever. But you'll still emotionally connect, or even, mentally connect, but no physical connection. So again, then you're thinking of swinging. If you're going into just for sex, you're going to go into swinging, but that's a different, monster in itself. But yeah, no, polyamory is looking for a commitment in either a mental, emotional, or physical intimacy.
Now, the one thing I'm going to go back to is, again, we know many couples who have done this. I love the configurations that occur. And what I mean is, we know one where the house has 2 master bedrooms, and basically the woman will move between the 2 and the guy's in either one.
Mm-hmm.
We also know another couple or group where there's a house has been expanded to have 4 bedrooms, and several people enjoy sleeping alone while some people enjoy sleeping together. And then, it's sort of like you said, that pizza, any way you want it.
Exactly.
But
you all have to agree on the toppings. Oh
yeah. Well, the interesting thing is, we used to say there was no wrong way to poly, and I heard that in the poly group. And recently I heard something else saying, there's many ways to poly. There's definitely a few wrong ways, though.
Yeah, there is. There's definitely a few wrong ways. Like not telling each of your partners they're in a poly relationship. I already had a conversation with someone like that. That gentleman was married, had a girlfriend. Girlfriend just found out that they were married, but the wife didn't know about the girlfriend, and the girlfriend just found out about the wife. So
that's called cheating.
That is called cheating. But that, if they knew each other from the beginning, that will be poly. But that is the definition of wrong way to poly. It's called cheating. Yes.
Yeah. That's cheating. That's completely different. Again, the biggest thing with poly is everyone's on board, everyone's consenting.
Everyone knows about everyone. Period.
In one way or the other.
They might not.
That's true. They may not have met, because we know some
well, there's been
airline employees that again travel a lot, and one partner knows that when she goes to Atlanta, she's going to meet, I'm just going to throw a name, Bob. Never met Bob, but knows Bob takes care of her. And when she comes back to Florida, that relationship continues on. So it's that multiple relationships. So,
and how to balance, how to make sure, like I said, everyone's consensually agreeing, everyone knows about each other. You may forget about each other's names, or you have like several different same names, so you end up saying, okay, so this is therapist Nikki, this is drive-by Nikki, this, so you come up with either adjectives and more descriptive names to which one, other than the other one, no, the other one, no, the other one. It's like, whoa. That gets so confusing. But Google Calendar is your best friend when you're doing polyamory, because that way you're coordinated, you know each other's schedule, you know what's going on, where you need to be, who you need to be with, if there's like a doctor's appointment or a school play or whatever it is, at least you're all on the same page.
So, wow, I know there's a lot more to poly.
There's so
much. It's trying to figure out which part I want to talk about. It
is, but this is just a sampler of what it is and what's possible. It's what the limitations are, your imagination and also your communication. Polyamory was one of those big ones that's communicate, and you think you already communicate again and again until it's fully clear on the message on what are you talking about, what is it that you want to know about each other.
Yeah, there's a lot to it, and one day I do hope to explore it a bit more, but the thing is, it's I'll even say it's hard, especially in like our lifestyle where we are so busy. And to look to find, to take time to foster that type of relationship, it's a commitment. I keep saying right back to that word, and finding the right person.
Yeah, because it's a lot of time and energy too. It's just like, wow.
It's
like, okay, what do I add? Okay, I talked to this partner today. I talked to that partner later on today. I guess.
Now that's just it. I could, and again, inexperienced in the poly, definitely been in open marriage for over 10 years, but I do understand that getting 4 people on the same page is doable. I won't say it's easy, but doable. It's when you start going beyond that again, I will go ahead, and that's probably something I'm not personally capable of.
So, all right. So we'll be right back talking more about polyamory here on BFAM 109.6.
I try to. I am not a control freak.
And we're back. Welcome back to Sex Positive Me on BFAM 109.6. This segment is brought to you by SDC. SDC is the world's largest lifestyle community to hook up with open-minded couples and singles, swingers, and kinksters. They have more than just profiles. They list events like our events, articles, resources, and specials. And they just launched a new live streaming feature. Ooh.
Which we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
We're supposed to live on there, but we get overwhelmed, and we need to make more notes on that. But there is some interesting. There is a referral code if you'd like to sign up for that, because we've partnered up with SDC to offer classes for free to SDC members. Mm-hmm. Normally, these classes, like tonight, is swinger etiquette. It is normally $25, but it is free for SDC members. And let's see, up and coming, we're going to have Intro to Tantra class.
Yep, that's in April 15th.
And then May 10th.
BDSM 101.
Well, no.
No, I'm sorry.
We changed it.
I'm getting confused.
We're doing a dark Tantra
dark
class.
Tantra there, so that's different there.
So-
No, because we're doing another with Fair Villa. We're doing
a BDSM 101 with Fair Villa as well. Look,
yeah.
we can't go through all the points right now, but if you go to sexpositiveme.com and look at the calendar,
Under
it'll
events,
list all our events coming up. And usually we do at least 3 per month. So take a look through, and if they sound interesting, sign up, join us. We normally record the class if you can't make it, because we know that, kids run in the room. They're usually done about 8 o'clock at night. Maybe it's date night. You can always watch the recording, because we'll put that up for the next 7 days. So you can sit down and watch that at your own convenience.
Great.
So today's show has been about polyamory. So we started with swinging.
Right.
Then we moved on to polyamory.
Right. So next week's BDSM?
Well, actually, next week we're going to have a guest.
Oh, that's right. We're going to have one condoms on. Yay!
Because she's going to talk to us about, safe sex.
Right.
Which everyone can get along with, but making safe sex better, easier, more fun, not having to dread condoms. Wouldn't that be nice?
Exactly. And they're so fun and playful because they have so many different textures, designs, lube, non-latex.
You know what I like?
Yeah.
If you're an artist, you can submit designs and they can print it on a ribbed condom.
Mm-hmm.
So you can feel the design inside you. I like that.
Feel it there. So,
well, give a little, shout out to all our sponsors: One Condoms, Kink Crate, SDC.com, and the Florida Center for Hormones Wellness. If you can visit them, would be greatly appreciated. And if you like it, you can find us on social media, of course,
as Sex Positive Me, almost everywhere. As like I said, almost. It's because Instagram and their censorship. So we renamed it to SPM the Lunas, which, by the way, tomorrow night is SPM the Lunas date night with the Lunas. So come join us, ask us questions. We'll have product review. I don't know what we're reviewing.
I want to review the what's the Arcwave Ion.
Oh yeah. That's a new one.
Yes.
Oh, talk about that.
Wow one. Tech Group sent us a new one. And I got to use it once. I haven't done the full review on it. I want to get it in a couple times.
Yeah.
Before we have. But basically, it is an air suction male toy.
So it's the womanizer in a male version. So if, women, you're more familiar with the womanizer and the air suction toy it is, they made a male version. Ooh. It just looked kind of big.
It is.
And it feels kind of weird. Or unique sensation.
Okay. I want to leave it for the review, but what I will say is it was a pleasant experience, and we'll talk more about that on Tuesday night. Unfortunately, because it goes around my penis, I can't show that to you. That would definitely get us in trouble with Instagram.
It looks like a ham sandwich. So
it looks like a ham sandwich.
Well, think of your penis as the ham and the toy as the bread. So, there you go, ham sandwich. Because it's sucked in there.
I was going to say it looks like some type of Romulan weapon.
Oh, God.
Because
not everyone's a Star Trek fan. See, I even got it right. It's a Star something, but it was Star Trek.
Well, I'm very happy you didn't go Star Wars. Yes. But it does. It looks like an interesting device. I'm going to say I've had to figure out some things, but now that I have, I'm very happy I own one. And believe it or not, next month we're going to have one of those to give away.
Yes.
So
stay tuned for that.
Yep. Our next show will be on March 15th, and we're going to be taking questions again. So if you have any questions on any type of safe sex, STDs, anything we can answer for you, that will be the time to go ahead and bring it up.
We'll put it in the group, so you could drop off, whatever. If you want to make it anonymous, send us a message, and we'll add it to their list so we can answer those on the live next Monday, the 15th.
So listen, regardless of whatever type of relationship you're in, monogamous, swinger, poly, enjoy it. Sex is something to be enjoyed by every adult. Don't be shamed about it. Have fun. And we will see you in 1 week.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. dangerous. You are dangerous.